Okay, let's have a look and see how many people are on. I see some names. Hello, Rajiv. Hi. Sandeep. Hi. Hello, Jay. Hello, Raghav. Quite a few people. I'm just going to wait a couple of minutes till more people join, so I can have the opportunity to speak to more people, which is why I'm here. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to all of you, depending on where you're coming from. Thank you. I see your words and compliments. Please understand that I may not get an opportunity to respond to each and every one of you, but I am looking at the comments. Hello, Shivanka. Welcome. Hi, Rohit. I am looking at your comments, and I will respond to as many questions as I can. You are able to put some questions in the chat box. I don't promise that I'll be able to get to every question, but I will do my best. Hello, Swati. I see some friendly phrases. Hello, Neetu. Hi, Naina. Okay, I hope you're all well. I hope your week is going fantastically well. Here we are in July 2024. This year has also gone very quick, like every other year. And I hope you're starting to realize that the older you get, I have a sense of urgency around of my social channels. You see, I show up every day. And not only do I show up, I like to show up with intensity, I like to show up with energy, and I like to show up with purpose. I don't know how people live their lives without any intention. They're just surviving. They're merely wasting time. They're merely existing. And I have seen this my whole life now. I just watch people and I say, I don't understand how people just are satisfied with just surviving, with just existing. They're not really living. They're not really succeeding. They're not really getting to live the life and lifestyle that they truly want. And it always surprises me that people just settle for such a basic life and lifestyle. And the worst part is not that they settle. The worst part is that they try and justify to themselves that this is good enough. But the reality is, we know that they're lying to themselves. It is not good enough. We know that if they had the choice and if they really could have more, they would have more. And it's a very easy test that you can do when you meet somebody who says, I'm content, I'm satisfied, I don't really want any more than this. Sign them a check for a substantial amount of money, or pay for a holiday, or buy them a good meal at a nice hotel or a restaurant, and see how quickly they will take it. It's because they do want more, but for some reason they believe they can't have more. And so they have settled in life for a lot less, not realizing that they can have a lot more, they can do a lot more, they can become a lot more in life. And so I have seen this my whole life, and now I have become one of the very few voices that actually advocates excellence, actually advocates success, productivity, performance. And I can tell you now what I have observed is a very interesting trend in the last probably 4 or 5 years. Anyone that talks about success is a bad person. Anyone that talks about wealth is a greedy person. Anyone that talks about strength and power is a person who wants to exploit others. This is the perception that the masses have today. And so what's actually happening is the people who are trying to tell you that you don't need to do anymore, you don't need to be anymore, you don't need to have anymore, those people become very popular. But people like me are becoming lone voices. My voice is now heard by very few people. Very few people actually understand what I'm saying, because their minds are full of the noises that they've been hearing their whole lives. Settle, be content, be happy, be peaceful. But nobody talks about be excellent, be a high performer, be a high producer, be a high contributor, be highly impactful, be highly powerful. So I do find that I'm now in the minority of people that has this message for people. And then every single day I show up, and rather than telling you what you want to hear, I tell you what you need to hear so that you can take your life and lifestyle to the next level. So thank you for joining me. And I really appreciate the fact that a lot of you have been following me, engaging with my content, and your engagement and enthusiasm means the world to me. There are many times I just feel like giving up on this game, and I just say, people don't really want to hear the truth anymore. People just want to hear the sweet lies. Why am I doing this? It's very painful sometimes. I show up with my message. I want to speak to people truthfully. And yet the same people that I'm trying to serve, enable, and empower, the same people that I'm trying to mobilize are the people who don't understand my message, misunderstand me, criticize me, and attack me. But for those of you who understand the essence of my message and who have stuck with me over the last 1 or 2 years, I want you to know I really appreciate you, but I also want you to know that you are also in the minority today. You are in the minority of people who actually understand the value of excellence. You understand the value of being an achiever, being a producer, being a performer. You're in the minority today because the majority do not think like this anymore. The majority have been brainwashed to think that all they need to do is seek contentment and seek happiness, and they feel that that is the purpose of life. And I keep telling people that's not the purpose of life. The purpose of life, if you want to live an honorable life, the purpose of life is to build, to create, to contribute, to make an impact. But anyway, there are many different beliefs in the world. This is my belief. Take it or leave it. That's completely up to you. Welcome, and I'm really happy to have you here today. In case you've been following me only for a short period of time, my name is Malhotra. I am somebody who has had a passion for making people powerful. Really, actually, the essence of our message is become powerful. We want you to become powerful because people have lost their power. They've lost power over their own thoughts. People have lost power over their own emotions. People have lost power over their future, their finances, and a lot of people have lost power over their careers. Why is this happening? Fundamentally, I believe that the root cause why so many people are stuck in struggle and stagnation, so many people are stuck in survival and cannot get to success and cannot get to significance. The root cause, I believe, is the way they think. Because everything, all of your decisions are coming from the way you think. When something happens out there, we all tell ourselves a story. We interpret events, situations, circumstances in a particular way. And let me tell you first thing, we do not all interpret situations in the same way. Successful people look at a challenging situation and they're inspired by it. Unsuccessful people look at a challenging situation and they feel demoralized, discouraged, and defeated by it. Same situation, different way of interpreting the situation, different way of perceiving the situation. So the biggest root cause why people don't have the life and lifestyle that they want is the way they think. But because we are not aware of our own thinking patterns, we continue to try and fix the world out there. We continue to try and fix the situation. We try and continue and fix the circumstance rather than fixing ourselves. I know as somebody who had a lot of struggles my whole life. I did not have the health I wanted. I had very poor health, very poor vitality. I was low on energy. I did not have any influence. I did not have any important networks. Certainly did not have any financial abundance. I didn't even have financial security, did not even have financial stability. I know what it takes to go from there to be where I am today. And where I am is a very good place for me because I have the life and lifestyle that I want. And for years now, I have tested myself. Can I continually every year produce the results and the circumstances that I want? Or am I a slave to circumstances? So now after proving to myself over a decade that I can continue to produce the results that I want in life, I'm now convinced that the principles of success are repeatable, irrefutable, repeatable, and predictable. The only problem is the reason why people struggle is not because the principles don't work, it's because they don't understand the principles. And the main principle of success, the first one that I'm going to start with, is that everything originates from how we think, how we perceive, and how we interpret situations. Perception problem, right? So that's the first thing we have to fix. If you want to fix your life, you have to fix the way you perceive a situation. If you actually hang around with people who are highly successful, excellent in what they do, have wonderful lives and lifestyles, you will find that a situation that defeats you, demoralizes you, scares you, is the same situation that inspires others, inspires these successful people. It excites them. Second, this is the other thing I have found. The vast majority of people want success, but their desire for success is very low and it's very conflicted. Sometimes they want it. Other times they keep telling themselves that maybe success is not that important. Maybe I can just settle and be happy. So what happens is when you're telling yourself conflicting messages, It's a bit like stepping forward and then stepping back. It's like putting one foot on the accelerator and one foot on the brake. So, one of the things that is really important for you is that the only way you can become successful is that you must be obsessed with the idea of becoming successful. A wish is not enough, a desire is not enough, hope is not enough, passion is not enough. Only obsession will get you there. Now, people don't like me saying this, but have you ever seen a top performer in any field, whether it's business, whether it's sports, it's music or entertainment, whether it's politics? Have you ever seen a top performer who was absolutely excelling in their field, who was not totally obsessed with their craft? Obsessed. Obsessed means they're not looking for balance. Obsessed means that they have a single-minded focus on mastering their craft. And once they achieve mastery, they're able to gain better balance than those who aim for balance first. So what am I saying? What I'm saying is that instead of aiming for balance, aim for excellence and mastery, and the balance will take care of itself. If you prioritize balance first, what's going to happen is over a period of time, neither are you going to achieve mastery or excellence, nor are you going to achieve balance. And this has become very evident because the last 10, 15 years, let me tell you what I have been telling people. So I was running seminars all over the world, and I was warning people. I was literally warning people, and I was saying, listen, a 9 to 5 job, a degree is not enough. And in 10 years' time, you are going to struggle to be able to buy a house. You're going to struggle to be able to pay enough money towards your retirement. You're going to struggle to have the lifestyle that you want. So many people attacked me. So many people disagreed with me back then. And they said, no, balance is really important, Ron. You know, what are you talking about? You are promoting unhealthy habits. And now what's happened is in the last 10 years, as the cost of living has skyrocketed, what we're seeing now is exactly what I had predicted. People are going to struggle. They're not going to make enough money to be able to keep up with the cost of living. I knew that people are going to struggle to buy the home that they actually want. I knew that people will struggle to invest enough money for their own retirement. They're going to struggle to be able to send their kids to good schools because their mentality was not to excel, but to become comfortable. And here's the thing, when you're young, do not aim for comfort, aim for excellence, because the comfort will follow excellence. But people don't understand this. So the second thing I'd like to say is your desire for success has to be absolutely burning. The third thing that I would say is this. You have to know what success means for you specifically. So when I talk about success, people say to me, isn't success different for different people? Yes, it is. But there is a universal definition of success, universal application of success. And it's this, the ability to have the life and lifestyle that you want. Now, I want you to understand, you cannot get the life and lifestyle that you want until you are 100% clear on what is the life and lifestyle that you want. That means you need to be very clear on the following. And I want you to write this down. Grab a notebook, grab a pen, and I want you to write this down. And I want you to start reflecting on these questions carefully. The more you reflect on these questions, the more you examine your life, the wiser you will become. If all your education is in schools and universities, if all of your education has been derived and extracted from schools, universities, and corporations, then you actually don't know anything about yourself. Personal development education is understanding you. Who are you? So the first thing you've got to do is you've got to say, what does success mean for me? And here are some of the questions that you need to be able to answer. Number one, how do I want to feel when I wake up in the morning? You must decide this beforehand. The reason is very simple. You have a part of your mind, which is the subconscious mind, which is incredibly powerful. The difficult part is to put information in the subconscious mind. The best part is that once information gets into the subconscious mind, your subconscious mind does not judge the information and modifies your behaviors, your perceptions, your decisions, so that you end up achieving what's in the subconscious mind. But you have to put something in there. And so the question becomes, the first question you need to ask yourself is, how do I want to feel when I wake up in the morning? Do you want to feel full of energy, vitality, confidence? Do you want to feel sexy? Do you want to feel attractive? If you don't decide these things, you'll automatically default to feeling sluggish, to feeling lazy, to feeling apathetic. So that's why it's so important to decide, how do I want to feel when I wake up in the morning? Second, I want you to decide, and I want you to write this down. It's going to take some time. I want you to write this down. How do I want to look when I look at myself in the mirror? How do you want to look? Do you want to look slim? Do you want to look fit, athletic? Do you want to look polished? Do you want to look sophisticated? Do you want to look elegant? How do you want to look? You must decide how you want to look. Remember, your subconscious mind works really well with specific instructions. But how can we instruct the subconscious mind when we don't even know how we want to feel and how we want to look? It cannot be a vague, general idea. You must be ultra specific. You know, many years ago, and this is a true story, many years ago, I asked myself the question, how do I want to look? And so I started to think, I need an image in my mind. I need some sort of a picture in my mind that I can visualize when I decide how I want to look. And so I started to ask myself, out of all the people dead and alive, all the people that I know in my personal life, all the celebrities that I know and I've heard of, who has the physical image that I want? And so I decided I loved the image of James Bond. I liked how he looks. So I said, you know what, that's how I want to look. And I had a very clear image for the first time in my life of how I wanted to look. The reason is this, and please write this down. Your subconscious mind cannot work with thoughts. It cannot work well with words. It works really well with visuals and with emotions. So if you have a clear picture of how you want to look and how you want to feel, and you can feel the feelings of what it would be like for you to become that person, now your subconscious mind actually starts to understand what it is that you're aiming for. Once a concept is deeply embedded in your subconscious mind automatically starts to modify your behaviors, your awareness, your beliefs, so that you start to do the things that you need to do to become that person. It's an incredibly powerful concept. And anybody that doesn't understand fully the working of their own subconscious mind is somebody that doesn't understand themselves. And imagine most people are going from birth to death, never really truly understanding and appreciating the power that resides within them. So they're living powerlessly, unnecessarily. All they need to do is figure out how their own power works and then tap into that power. So after the second question, first question being, how do you want to feel when you wake up in the morning? Second question, how do you want to look when you look at yourself in the mirror? The third question, how do you want your day to look? What does your day look like? Most people have no control over their day. Their day controls them. Their schedule controls them. That means they're a slave to their schedule. Until you decide what you want your schedule to look like, you will always be a slave to your schedule. You want the schedule to be a slave to you, not the other way around. So I decided, look, first thing, I want to get up early in the morning, but I don't want to rush to work. I don't want to be stuck in traffic. The first 2-3 hours of my day, I want to dedicate it to myself, working on my mind, working on my reading, my research, working on my physical body through exercise, meditation. So I decided that if I'm going to design my own schedule, I don't want anybody else running that schedule. So I decided that I don't want to rush in traffic. That means it's important for me to craft a career where I have flexibility. Then from there, I decided that I wanted to spend some time with my daughter in the mornings. I want to be able to see her in the morning. I want to be able to have breakfast with her in the morning. I want to be able to give her a kiss in the morning. And I don't want to rush through that experience. Then I decided that through the day, I want to have a certain number of appointments and certain number of engagements that utilize my skill set. And I don't want to deal with clients that I don't like and I don't respect. And I don't want to do anything just for money. Even though I want to make a lot of money, it was very important for me to say that I want to make money in a particular way. I want to work with the types of people that I respect, doing work that I love in an area that I'm highly skilled at. So I decided that I want my schedule to be full of those things. And I only wanted a certain number of appointments and meetings, because remember, I want to run my schedule. I don't want my schedule to run me. That was question number 3. Question number 4 was, what kind of people do I want to be surrounded by? I again made a very conscious decision and I journaled it, I documented it. The type of people that I want to be surrounded by are people that are seeking wisdom. I want to be surrounded by people who have a desire to be the best that they can be. I want to be surrounded by people who don't make excuses and take full responsibility. I want to be surrounded by people who are highly skilled or at least have the desire to develop a skill. So I started to pick and choose. Now you understand, because I wrote it down, my mind was ultra clear on the type of people that I wanted to spend time with. I don't just want losers to spend time with me. I don't want time wasters spending time with me. I don't want excuse makers spending time with me. So I became ultra clear on the type of people that I want to spend time with. The reason being, life is very limited. If you actually look at the average life expectancy of a human being, it's only 4,000 weeks. Why would you want to waste your time with human beings that have no desire to improve themselves? So I made it very clear. These are the types of people that I want to be surrounded by. Question number 5. I then wrote down, what do I want to be surrounded by? What kind of things and what kind of environment do I want to be surrounded by? I decided that I wanted a house in the country. I wanted to be surrounded by nature. I wanted to be surrounded by space. I wanted peace and quiet. And I started to make very clear decisions that I wanted to be surrounded by opulence. Very clearly, consciously, I decided that these are the things I want around me, because when I'm surrounded by beauty and opulence and I'm surrounded by luxury, I feel more inspired. I don't want to be in surroundings that are neglected. So I said, you know what? I want high quality things around me. Number 6, I then decided what my lifestyle needs to look like. That was very clear. Number 1, I decided that I want flexibility. I want to be able to do a lot of travel. I want to be able to do work that is meaningful for me. Now, the reason I did all of this is because I want you to just pretend for a minute that your life is like a blank canvas. Most people allow other people to draw on their canvas. They allow their parents, they allow their colleagues, their friends, their neighbors, right, to draw on the canvas of their life. Then what ends up happening is they end up living a life they don't even want. They end up living a life that is not even in alignment with their own values. They end up living a life that doesn't even allow them to tap into their own zone of genius. Right? And so what ends up happening is, over a period of time, they start to lose their vibrancy. They start to lose their energy. They start to lose their confidence. And if a person's not confident, do you think they're ever going to set big goals? Do you think that if a person is not confident, they're ever going to set a big vision? Do you think if a person's not confident, they're ever going to take big risk? No, confident people do that. People who are not confident don't do those things. But the reason they're not confident is because they allowed everybody else to draw on their blank canvas, but they never drew the canvas themselves. When you take that canvas, when you realize that your life is a blank canvas, and that, yes, when you're a child, you have no control. Parents, society, education, media, all of these things will end up drawing on your canvas. But as you become an adult and you say, I want to be living independently, I want to be a sovereign human being, I want to design the life and lifestyle that I want, that's the time when you start to paint on your own canvas. You decide, this is how I want to feel, this is how I want to look, this is the people that I want to be surrounded by, this is what I want my day to look like, this is what I want my lifestyle to look like. Right? You start making decisions consciously, and especially when you understand the power of your own mind. You know that once your own mind believes that you can have it, your mind will modify your behaviors, your decisions, your actions until you get that thing. In fact, your mind is so powerful that once your mind believes that you can have something, it will create a strong, obsessive, compulsive need in you to take the actions that you need to take to get the things that you want to get and to become the person that you've always wanted to become. That's how powerful the mind is. But most people neglect, and they live hopelessly and miserably and powerlessly simply because no one has ever taught them the power that resides within them. That is actually ultimate spirituality. Spirituality is actually understanding your creative power, your creative genius, the power that has been given to you as a human being. But it's our job to discover that power and to harness it. Nobody teaches that. That's why you have to learn through people who've actually understood the human condition. More importantly, now not only have they understood the human condition, they've tapped into it, they've leveraged it, and they have maximized it. Now, here is what I have found with people who are really fulfilled in life. And let me tell you, there are three things that all fulfilled people do in life. Please write this down. Three things that are common characteristics of all fulfilled people. Number one, they have identified their life's purpose and they have committed themselves to it, meaning that their choice of occupation, their choice of career aligns with their life's purpose. That's the first thing that all fulfilled people on the planet have done. They have aligned their occupational and career choice to their life purpose. Second, they are in constant pursuit of maximizing their potential. People who are very fulfilled understand that we thrive when we have meaningful challenges. So instead of avoiding challenges like most people, they embrace meaningful challenges because they know that growth is only possible through embracing meaningful challenges, not by avoiding meaningful challenges like most people. If you actually look at most people, they're unhappy, they're miserable, they're not going anywhere in life, they're not achieving anything in life because they avoid problems, they avoid challenges. Fulfilled people, on the other hand, understand that the potential can only be maximized through embracing meaningful challenges. So that's the second thing that all fulfilled people do. The third thing that all fulfilled people do is they use their strengths to make a contribution to others. They use their strengths. Now, if you don't have any strength, a lot of people say, I want to help humanity. How can you help humanity if you have no strength? If you have no resources, if you have no power, if you have no knowledge, if you have no skills? If you have the desire to help humanity and you really mean what you're saying, show me that you're actually doing something to make that happen. Don't just tell me that you want to do it. A lot of people talk. Oh, Ron, I'm going to change people. I don't care about my own success. I want to help people. And then my question to them is, so what are you doing about it? You have to have something to give before you can give. What are you going to give? You have no time. Your skills are average. You don't have the resources. What are you going to give? Excuse me. I know I'm being harsh, but honestly, who are you lying to? How are you going to give something that you don't already have? First build it, then give it, right? You can't give something you don't have. So these are the three qualities of highly fulfilled people, right? I wanted to give you a bit of an overview because a lot of people think that they actually understand success. Well, if so many people understand success, then why is it that very few people in the world are successful by their own definition? Here is how you decide whether you have the success that you want or not. Have you got the life and lifestyle that you truly want? Don't lie to yourself. Ask yourself, do you actually know the life and lifestyle that you truly want? I am ultra specific around the life and lifestyle that I want. I know exactly how I want to feel, how I want to look, who I want to be surrounded by, what my day looks like, what my lifestyle looks like. And because I was clear on that, and then through the studies that I did, I was able to put that into my subconscious mind. I was able to embed that into my subconscious mind. My physiology changed, my psychology changed, my behaviors changed, my risk appetite changed. So the gap between what I wanted and what I had was automatically minimized. That's how the mind works. And this is the basis for understanding success. But you must have an obsessive desire to be all that you can be, right? So many people are happy to just live a small percentage of their life, tap into a small percentage of their potential. Another thing that I have learned in life is this, right? Life is like a book. So I'm using these analogies to help you understand because the fundamental understanding of life is so important for you to become successful and wise. Life is like a book. I've used one analogy and I've explained that life is like a blank piece of canvas. Let me use another analogy. Life is like a book. Most people will read one page or one chapter of that book and die because they have no desire to explore, to discover, to maximize. They're already in economizing mode. Oh, I've got my job, now let me just settle. Oh, I've got my little house, let me just settle. Oh, so they have no desire to explore. So many people don't even leave the house that they were born in, that they grew up in. They don't even leave the city or the town that they grew up in. It's like they're happy reading that one page of life, that one page of that book, or they're really happy to just read one chapter of that book. So the maximization of life is about having the desire to read as many pages as possible and read as many chapters as possible. Okay, so I want you to give that perspective, because our perspectives design and determine how we live. All right, look, I find it very difficult not to get passionate about these things. Everywhere I see people settling, suffering, stagnating, and then I see that they've got all this power, all these reserves, all this capability, all this potential, and it's just locked away. And how can you not be passionate about this stuff? How can I speak in a normal tone and not demonstrate some passion for this? Because you see people and you're like, hey, you're sitting on a gold mine, but you need to start mining the gold. And so that's how I see the human condition. People have so much power. All I want you to know is this: I am convinced beyond doubt that the human condition is a very powerful one. I don't think there is any such thing as a weak victim human being. Even if bad things have happened to you in the past, you've experienced trauma, you've experienced abuse, even if you have a mental or physical disability, I want you to know something: that your own spirit can transcend your physical and psychological limitations. I know this. I know this because I have lived it and I continue to live it. Every year, I prove to myself that I can manifest the life and lifestyle that I want. And I continue to set bigger and bigger and bigger goals. And one thing I know for a fact is I'm not exceptional. I know for a fact that I'm not special. I know for a fact that I'm not talented. I know for a fact that the spirit that I have tapped into, you have it as well. The only difference is that some people do better than others because they understand the power of that spirit and they tap into that spirit, whereas others live ignorantly, giving a lot more weighting to things outside, never realizing the power that they've got within them. And so they end up living a very small life. If life was a book, they end up reading 1 page, 2 pages, 3 pages, or 1 chapter or 2 chapters. And then they die, never really understanding what could have been, what they could have done. The fact is that the moment you have faith in you and you have faith in your future, there is no space for fear to get into your head. The less faith you have, the more fear you have. The more faith you have, the less fear you have. And faith comes from an understanding of the human condition. It comes an understanding of the power that resides within you. The reason I'm so confident is not because I'm arrogant, not because I think I'm better than others. It's because I understand the human spirit. I understand the power that resides within me. Arrogance is when I think that the power is only in me, not in you. That's arrogance. I don't believe that for a second. What I believe is that the power is within me and the power is within you. But the reason some people do better is because they understand the power and they use it. Others don't understand the power and they neglect it. And regardless of what life you've had, regardless of what conditioning you've had, let me tell you one common thing between the most accomplished people in the world. There's a book called Cradles of Eminence, which studied the lives of 700 of the greatest people on the planet. And they found that the vast majority of them came from backgrounds of poverty, intense psychological drama, and even disability. They have found this time and time and time again. They have found that the lotus grows in a ditch, that the diamonds are found in dark caves, that pearls are found deep inside the ocean. Everything that is incredibly powerful in you is deep within you, not at the surface level. It's not your name, it's not your nationality, it's not your education. It is something much deeper inside of you. Just like to extract gold, you have to go deep into the caves. Just like to get diamonds, you have to go deep into the ground. Just like to get pearls, you have to go deep into the ocean. To get to your own power, you have to go deep inside of you. That means you have to do a lot of deep reflective work on a regular basis. And you must examine your own life, your own behaviors, and what is happening around you. There's a wonderful saying: an unexamined life is not worth living. I strongly believe that. An unexamined life to me is like reading 1 page. Why would you want to live like that? Life is wonderful, and I can tell you have the ability, the will. As long as you have the will, the obsessive will, you have the ability. It is never a question of ability. It's always a question of willingness. Do you have the willingness to mold the life and lifestyle that you want? You to bring it, to shape it into what you want it to be. If you don't draw on your canvas, other people will draw on your canvas. Don't hate them for it. The problem was that you did not draw on your own canvas. You allowed somebody else to step in and draw on your canvas. Now you resent them. Now you hate them because what they've drawn on your canvas you don't like. But you're the one that abdicated that power to somebody else. You did that because you didn't understand that you could do it yourself. I'm hoping that today you do. Everything that I have done in my life has not come from the knowledge that I've acquired from universities, but from the wisdom that I have acquired through reflection and examination of myself. And that's why I speak with so much power and conviction and authority. And that's why I don't mince my words, because I know what I'm talking about. A lot of you have had a glimpse into your own power periodically. Imagine if you could tap into it regularly. What could you do? I want you to reflect on that for a second. Now, by the way, as far as the scientific method is concerned, because some people will say Ron is preaching pseudoscience, metaphysical stuff. Well, actually, I want you to go and look up the website for the Heart Math Institute. The Heart Math Institute is something that I do talk about in one of my programs. And they have done an incredible amount of research on the intelligence that resides not just in your brain, but also in your heart. And also they found that there is intelligence, there is brain cells actually in your solar plexus, which is in your gut. Unfortunately, our conditioning teaches us that all the intelligence resides in the brain. But we never really truly understand how to harness the power of our heart. The heart somehow always knows. And one of the things that I have been teaching my mentees for many years, and I do myself, I use my heart for the big decisions in life, and I use my brain for the day-to-day decisions. Actually, people reverse that. If you look at most people who are stagnating in life, one of the biggest mistakes that they're making is they're using their intellect to make the big decisions in life, and they're not using their heart at all because they don't trust their heart. They don't understand that the heart produces the purest vibrational frequency. But if you don't believe me, go and look up the Heart Math Institute, and you can go and study it yourself. The human condition is a complex one. We're not just a mind and a body. We also are a heart and a soul. And truly wise people know when to tap into the body, when to tap into the mind, when to tap into the heart, and when to tap into the spirit. Unwise people rely heavily on either physical labor or mental labor to make their life work. But wise people know that the intelligence transcends what's in the mind and what's in the body. If you know me and you've been following me for a few years, you will know that I am very consistent with what I say. You will know that I walk my talk, and you will know that I don't teach anything that I haven't done myself. I don't like teaching from theory. I only like to teach from practice and achieving results from those practices. Only then I have the confidence and the conviction to teach. So thank you so much for being receptive. Thank you for being here. And Manav, I see you. Thank you so much. Jimmy, I see you. Thank you. Dilip, thank you. Samath, Rohit, thank you so much. And Nitanjali, thank you. And I see a lot of you. Thank you for putting your comments in.